Testing, testing. Can you guys hear me? If anybody is in here. Okay. Okay, just testing to make sure this is good, that you guys can hear me, and everything's all good. All right. Your audio levels are good. All right. Sorry, guys, just trying to get the chat up real quick because YouTube's decided to move it around. Okay. All right, finally got it up. Hi, Tom. Hi, April. Hi, James. Okay, great. So you guys can hear me. Just going to send this link out to people real quick, and then we'll get started because I'm just going to re-go over that channel announcement I tried to make on the hook hand killer video because I know you guys said my audio was wonky, and thank you for that. So I just cut it out and figured I'd do this stream to do that. And then Crimson Studios got terminated, so I'm going to talk about that as well because that's super not cool. Send these on out. Because a full stream's a fun stream. Or not, either way. So how has everybody been this morning? Sure, it's not morning certain places, but morning here. Yeah, no, absolutely, Tom. Wonky audio is just not fun at all. I know a bunch of people are saying they could barely understand the announcement I was making, and it was mildly important, so that's good. I'm gonna take it you guys either are a different time zone or had the morning off. It's good that you're super April. It's really great. Hi, Fuzzums. That's one thing I've also been meaning to do. All right. Fuzzums, you are now a mod because I haven't had a moderator and it's high time I should. I just want to share this out real quick and let everybody know what's going on. And yeah. Oh, what do you do, Koshi Draws? You said you just got off work. I'm assuming you're on a night shift or, again, different time zone. Hoping everybody's having a relaxing and fun morning. Oh, it's good that you had a free morning, Tom. Yeah, mornings off were always weird for me. I would just like when I could work, it was just one of those, I don't feel like going in because I had this morning and I chilled out and now I don't want to work. But some people love it and just need that little break in the morning. Oh, that's great, Koshi, that you're an overnight dispatcher. We have an alarm system and it's one of those when you need it, it's great to have it. It's like one of those, I don't mind paying the bill because it did save us once when we got broken into. So that was not fun at all. Okay. So that is all out. Basically, what I wanted to talk to you guys about was the announcement I tried to make on the hook hand killer video. What I'm going to be doing, hi Antonio. What I'm going to be doing is moving that series up, or not up, but over to the HorrorTube Patreon. To be clear, that is not a personal Patreon. I'm not seeing a dime of that. What is going on is Duchess Dark, Immunity Zero, and Mother Creepypasta all got together. They want to build a horror-based platform. I don't want to say to compete with YouTube, but without the censorship issues YouTube has. The reason they put it on Patreon is when people donate, eventually when it builds up to the lump sum they need, they will delete the Patreon. Take that money, go build this platform. Right now, because of the upload sizes, we're kind of restricted to just audio, not video like you guys normally get. But that's because we want to host everything over there, because it kind of doesn't work of us going, oh, we want to get rid of YouTube and move away because of the censorship issues, and then host things on YouTube, because there has been issues in the past of people getting strikes, even for private and unlisted videos. So that's why we're trying to make sure we're not messing up over on YouTube, but we also want to try and start moving away, or at least investigating another way to do a platform where the horror community doesn't have as many issues as it's having right now. So that's not a personal Patreon. I'm not seeing any money from that. Like I said, this is kind of my donation of time and videos to try and get this platform built. I know a couple of you guys have asked me about a Patreon in the past. I'm fine going that route, but I want to make sure I have incentives in place that you guys like. Because merchandise, I made some, and the reason I haven't updated it yet with the new name is just nothing's ever moved. And 1 second. Sorry, a little bit of dry mouth. So that's what's going on with that series. But you guys are getting the small series analysis, or the small screen analysis series, as well as you guys are getting that. There's another series I'm in the very early stages of working on. So you're getting more things to replace it than you're losing. Just the way I could make it fair to everybody, because everything posted over on the Patreon has to be exclusive, because it's not fair if somebody's paying for it that they're getting the exact same content they could for free. So that was just a decision that was reached. Okay, so Crimson Studios. Hey, Mr. Davis. Crimson Studios is basically in the same boat I was a couple of months ago. Even though the name might imply it, he is not a horror creator. He is just a YouTuber who does news. And he does kind of funny news. When he gets on more serious topics, he is respectful and he is nice. But for the most part, he does kind of outlandish things about either social media or conspiracy theories, things you don't have to be nearly as serious about. Hi, Shane. My phone is going off like crazy. So it's one of those things. He's been well within TOS. I have not seen anything from him that would constitute a violation. About the most serious thing he covered was the Me Too movement. And even that, he did really respectfully. He didn't get into graphic detail. I have no idea why that would have, and even if it had dinged him for TOS, that's one strike. The way this works on our end is we get 3 strikes for, there's community and there's copyright. You get 3 strikes for either one. I'm not sure how it works if you get 2 strikes for one and 2 strikes for the other. Because I just got my first copyright notice, and I've always been good on TOS, stands that termination. So we have no idea at this moment in time why Crimson was taken down. So not only do we have this creator that got taken down for handling news kind of issues, it's not like he was showing beheading videos or talking about violent, gory things. It was just going, hey, here's the news, here are the facts, and every now and again, if it was a sillier topic, he'd make some jokes. Yeah, Tom, it is called freedom of expression. The problem, the problem with it is since YouTube is a private business, and as far as I know from their end, because I haven't ever received money from YouTube, so if somebody has, feel free to correct me on this. It seems to be where treated as independent contractors. And when you're put as an independent contractor, you kind of have to fend for yourself. So we can't really like unionize or anything like that. Because I know York has some YouTuber union stuff going on, and his demands are essentially to keep stuff like this from happening. As far as we can tell, what happened to me, what happened to Crimson, the guy's name was Ryan, by the way. What happened to me and Ryan is we were taken down by AIs. And the big thing Jorg is fighting for is that a human being needs to look at the channel before it's terminated. So they're not saying don't use AIs, period. They're just saying, hey, maybe use an AI before you just take somebody's channel away. Because I was at like 2,000 subs, he's at 4,000, and you will probably lose some subs as a result of this because people that don't follow on social media, since he can't post on YouTube currently, people are just going to look at his channel, see it's been removed, and think it's dead. They don't know what's going on. So it's not a bash at them. It's just kind of this is the situation and the nature of the situation, and they are messing with his livelihood and other people's. I know he has worked as an actor, but if YouTube's steady income for him, that's a problem. It's not my place to discuss or know his finances. It's just super not cool. And just, yeah, Antonio pointed out Crimson did a good news report on how YouTube was collecting data on kids' accounts without parental permission, which might have been something to do with this, because I would point out I got taken down right after I did a stream where I kind of said a few not so kind things about YouTube. How did Fuzzums mention that Nature's Temper got 2 strikes, and I have no idea how that happened because I've seen their videos and they shouldn't. And Mr. Davis pointed out if you get 2 claims on one video, it counts as 2 separate strikes. Thank you. I appreciate that, Mr. Davis. I kind of had a feeling it was something like that. Okay. So that's really what I wanted to talk about, is the issues that are still existing with YouTube. And obviously the HorrorTube platform. But there is still this censorship issue going on, and a lot of people were thinking it was only in the horror community. But when we're looking at what just happened to Crimson, and this is right on the heels of Philip DeFranco talking about leaving. And Tom says there was another channel that vanished recently. Do you remember the name of that one, Tom? Because I know I was tagged. Somebody on Twitter pointed out that the channel got deleted, I think a month or so ago to me, but it seems like they got it back. This has been an on-running issue, though, and the best thing, unfortunately, we can do in these situations is kind of get on YouTube and go, hey, at least give this person an answer, because that's luckily how I got mine back. I have no idea if that's how Ryan's going to get his back, but it's putting pressure on them, making people aware of the situation, and knowing this is a problem. I don't think any creator thinks it's unreasonable to have a staff member look at somebody before things are terminated. Hi, Duchess Dark. Oh, Fuzzum just said animal rescue channels are being hassled too. What, because of the before and after? Is it like the animal abuse pictures versus them now? I don't know what your justification would be for that, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was their logic. Because I know there have been a lot of people pointing out that they have seen these colossal dips, and YouTube is still to this day denying that they do that, which isn't true at all. If you look at the growth in viewership on a video that stayed monetized versus the growth in viewership on a video that became demonetized, there is a very sharp plummet. Also, with the YouTubers Union, a bunch of people have pointed out they have not only had people complaining about their bells being turned off, they've had people full blown unsub. I had to freaking I actually had to subscribe to Damn Drops because my husband really liked him and he was actively unsubscribed to him 4 or 5 different times, each time going back in and resubscribing. But when he wanted to unsubscribe from another channel that YouTube clearly favors, I'm not going to name them just because I don't want it to sound like I'm saying they have something to do with it. I have no interest in throwing shade at creators here. He tried to unsubscribe multiple times but was resubscribed. And I've heard this out of a few different people. So that's something right there that's a big problem. And if the bell notification system worked, I don't think people would be as concerned about certain things. Is I hear it from you guys, I've heard it from other people of, hey, I didn't even get the notification this was happening. So the bell, most people assume when you click it, you're going to get notified each time, but that seems to not be the case. I am not sure how their analytics work on that. It definitely can't be from interaction though, because I've had that bell unrung from channels I comment on everything that they do. I don't know. There have been okay. Wasn't just that the animal rescue channels don't know their videos are just being demonetized completely. Yeah, and Tom pointed out Black Eye Blonde has also had a lot of her videos demonetized, and that's not uncommon in the horror community right now. That's happened a lot in the horror community, the news community, the true crime community. And I want to say gaming channels are getting it pretty bad too, but that seems to be more on copyright. Because Nintendo has a weird set of rules, and there's a couple of other ones that are kind of funky about people playing. Okay, and Antonio just pointed out, be careful, sometimes glitches in the YouTube algorithm make it look like you're not subbed to a YouTuber's you like, but in subbing you unsubscribe. Yeah, that's not good at all. Tom pointed out he didn't get a lot of Darkness Prevails notifications, but you watch him every time he uploads. Yeah, so it can't be based on interaction, and that's what I'm hearing from a lot of people is when York launched the union, a lot of us were trying to collect data and not only get stuff from viewers, but creators and try and figure out what's going on. And a lot of viewers have been complaining about that. And from my understanding, that's been a problem that's been going on for years, like long before I even touched YouTube. Because when I was not on the other side of this, I always subscribed. I always rung the bell because I'm like, well, if I'm subscribing to you, clearly it's because I'm interested in what you're posting. The bell never made sense to me, but my assumption was YouTube was kind of using it as a backup. And again, it's not working. The trick I have found, if you have YouTube mobile and you click on your subscriptions, it'll show you each and every video, or it should show you each and every video. And that's how I add in and make sure I'm keeping up with everybody. Okay, Antonio Kaylee Elise is to inform me that the whole demonetization debacle on horror. Now, any YouTubers, yeah, this has been a problem. And Fuzzum's pointing out he doesn't get half of Critical Android's stream notifications. I don't even get them anymore. It really, when I missed so many of Critical streams because of that. But yeah, no, and I've checked the bells rung. I was talking to, I think it was Creepy News, about that small channel walkthrough I did. And you guys saw how often I was having to re-click those bells. That was maybe a third of the bells I had to re-ring because I got so sick and tired of saying it. I figured you guys get so sick and tired of hearing and seeing it that I pulled them out. Like I pulled out of about 2/3 of me re-ringing bells. So you can't tell me that that's not an issue because I know full well you hit subscribe, you ring the bell. I think most of the people that hang out on YouTube and watch it heavily know that. So Tom says the day I stopped getting Mortis Media notifications, I'm gonna flip. He's my top guy, yeah. And that's again, they're clearly not basing it on interaction. And I get why YouTube isn't telling people the algorithm. It's proprietary information. I understand that. Hi, Carrie. Oh, Carrie, I forgot I made you a mod, so yay. So we have 2 mods if anybody starts trouble. I highly doubt that, though. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, no, it can't be based on interaction. There's no way that this is working right, but at the same time, they kind of keep denying it and saying, oh, if things are unmonetized, we don't stop pushing them in the algorithm. And YouTube's algorithm, yeah, it makes sense. You don't want to give it out because that's how other video platforms could take it. That's how people could start abusing it. But at the same time, we need enough information to know why things aren't getting pushed or changed. Because I guarantee you the title of my last one's why it got immediately demonetized. But some of my other ones will hang around for a few days. Because I make videos months in advance. So I load things up and try and keep them going so I don't have to take another hiatus off you guys. As long as they don't acknowledge the problem, it doesn't exist. Yeah, pretty much. If we stick our fingers in our ears and yell real loud, yeah, no one will know there's no problem. I know there's been a whole uproar recently about people being demonetized and all of that. We did what we could with them. But yeah, like I said, the subscription thing on mobile is the only way I found to do it. And that's how I keep up with everybody. Antonio says, I take screenshots on my tablet of any YouTuber I'm sub to because notifications are unreliable. Yeah, yeah. And you have people disappear off your sidebar sometimes. Like I said, that's probably going to result, at least with me, it resulted in a loss of subscribers because, again, not everybody follows everybody on social media. Not everybody likes social media. So if we're unable to post to YouTube saying, hey, I got terminated, I don't know why, most people that are just there don't understand that we didn't delete our channel or we didn't leave YouTube. It's we physically cannot get on YouTube again. And Duchess is talking about moving all of her serial killer Saturdays over to HorrorTube, which makes sense. Like I said, everybody is doing HorrorTube is doing exclusive content for that. Yes, Carrie, I'm going to leave this stream up because, like I said, it was going to be on the shorter side. So leave this up, trying to keep just the information out there and more eyes aware of this. Yeah, and Greylock's pointing out that he thinks it's a cost-saving measure by Google to not have to pay creators. And yes and no, I can see that. Last time I looked into it, Google was claiming that YouTube had not been profitable, which I can believe. The reason being is nothing like YouTube existed really before YouTube. So what we have is everything they have to do is essentially reinventing the wheel. And I empathize with that. I do empathize with that a lot. But at the same time, you can't push the responsibility onto the creators. You can't test something that way and go, oh, it messed up, you deal with the fallout. Because that is messing with people's livelihoods. There were some people that got demonetized that were relying on that income to invest back in their channel. And a bunch of people were saying, well, this much money couldn't possibly be that much. Their social blade's this, but like, that's somebody else's finances. You don't get to talk about what somebody else has in their wallet. You don't know how much that $100 or so every month or so may have helped or not helped. Yeah, Tom says he was also having issues with Nature's Temper notifications. And Antonio, who is a sub over on HorrorTube, or is a patron over on HorrorTube, was talking about how he really enjoys the project, which is good. We're really glad you're liking it. Yeah, Tom's had to unsub, resub, re-ring bell, and a bunch of us have had to do that. Hey, Starfire, nice to see you. And Tom was pointing out the whole Busta situation where he got hit hard. That's one of those things. I'm not complaining. I've been up front. I don't make money off YouTube. That wasn't the plan. I do this because I can't do much else. Yeah, not complaining about that. I am pointing out there are fundamental issues, though, and this is why I've been following every horror tube project that seems to be out there, YouTubers Union and all that, because there has to be a better option, or there has to be some kind of option that poses enough threat for YouTube to get their act together. And yeah, and Fuzzums pointed out Critical Android that he got like $20 extra to help him out so much. And he does, Critical was one of those examples that I don't think they really realized existed. Critical's got, I think, between at the time of demonetization or the mass demonetization, he was about 300 subs, and he might be around 4 or 5 or possibly 600 now. I don't have his numbers off the top of my head, but he was making money because he had a very niche, or he has a very niche channel that people are really into. So he releases these 30-minute to hour-long episodes, and people watch every minute of them because it's all based off watch time. It's all based off views. So if you've got those 300 people watching every single thing you do, it absolutely adds up. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm not leaving YouTube. Obviously, that's not an announcement for this. It's more just letting you guys know this series is going exclusive to HorrorTube, and I'm also pointing out how how unfair this all was to Ryan and how it really shows a fundamental issue. Thank you very much, Carrie. I did. That's right. I did get like $2 on another stream because I was making fun of Comcast, and I do really appreciate it. That means a lot to me. Oh yeah, Tom, you've been around since the original name. Wow, yeah, yeah. I was thinking because people that have been around since the original name always refer to me as Blood, but now all of the people that are around since the name change are just now call me Ada. So I'm like, well, if people call me Miss Blood and Ada, does that mean my full name is Ada Blood? Because that sounds like a really weird video game character. Make a personality page on Facebook so everybody knows I've officially made it. Because, I made it when freaking I got a copyright strike about the Scream videos. And it's one of those, it was one of those claims where they don't want to take the video down, but they want my revenue from it. I'm just sitting there like, yeah, okay, you can get the few pennies I would have made off that, sure. Yeah, and everybody's, yeah, Fuzzums has known me since Blood. Tom has too. Carrie has as well. Shane is pointing out he knew me long before any of this, which is true. And Shane, you were the one that actually introduced me to Homicidal Homemaker, who I've been dealing with. Or been talking to in different chats about the issues going on, because a lot of us are talking and strategizing and trying to figure something out, because I know she got hit with the demonetization as well because she was the inverse of Critical Android. She has like 8,000 subs, but she didn't have enough watch time. And that's the thing, because she does such niche videos and hers take so long to prep. She does cooking and props and they shoot out of town on another set. So a lot of work goes into her stuff, and I'm not saying other people don't put work in, but she's a legitimate channel, and it takes so much time for her to prep an episode and check things out that, yeah, she's not going to release all that frequently because there is a standard there. It's very easy to tell what channels are legit and not legit almost completely off appearance. You can tell who's putting time in and who's not. Uh, Raylock, I'll get back to you on if I need more narration. Originally, that series on this channel for the short story analysis videos was supposed to be having narrators come in and read it and then me doing an analysis after. I just couldn't get enough people to bite, so I just started kind of taking over it and doing the narration and the analysis. It seems to be working, but I'm not sure. Antonio pointed out Rainbot did a video on videos you think would be demonetized. Oh, yeah. I've seen and heard about those videos. What Antonio was talking about is the Elsa Gate stuff, where there was these really cheaply animated videos that were clearly geared at kids because they had Spider-Man and Elsa and da. But they were completely inappropriate, dealing with sex and pregnancy and violence and just weird nonsense that you shouldn't be putting in kids' videos. The issue with that was it was sneaking through analytics. And the analytics that are supposed to block that from being on the kid-friendly YouTube were failing because of the way they were doing this. And it was such a widespread issue. And it wasn't until Rainbot and I want to say This Exists did videos on it as well. I'm sure a whole bunch of people did videos on it, but those were the two I know about, that they finally started cracking down on it. And app stores have been having the exact same issue. Where they'll see an app that's supposed to be targeted towards kids and has stuff in that it's clearly too mature for children. Some of that could be back to an old troll where people will design stuff like that just to say, hey, you should be watching what your kids do because stuff like this can get through. But then it's a big chicken and the egg of, well, should the parental blocks be better or should parents pay more attention? Should it be a combination of both? Should they teach their kids more online literacy? What if they're too young for that? It's a whole big parenting debate I don't want to get into, but those are the reasons some people give for this. Yeah, and Tom says I love the people you can tell put time and thought into their work. You can tell when they have some level of production value and not just cobbling together to put something out. And he's absolutely right. I'm not gonna lie, I've been honest about this. My channel lives and dies on freeware. But if you're willing to take the time out and work with your freeware, you can get something halfway decent. Yeah, Antonio is also talking about how awesome Homicidal Homemaker is. Yeah, she is a fantastic person. And that's also one of the things that really just sucks about Crimson Studios, because not only is it a good channel, he's just a good guy. Anybody that's been in my comment sections, he's constantly posting and giving feedback. If he thinks something didn't work right or he didn't like something, he's always willing to send me a DM and go, hey, maybe work on this, or what about this? Which is fantastic. That's absolutely what the creator community needs. Not only are you taking a strong creator with strong videos out of the pool, you're taking somebody who's willing to support and be nice to other creators. Somebody that doesn't treat this like it is a zero-sum game. Hi, Schema. Hi, Movie Void. Hi, Lauren. I'm glad you like my content. It brightens up your day. That's great. I love to hear that. Right. See you, Shane. And I appreciate you sharing the link on Facebook. I am gonna leave this stream up just because, again, it has the announcements I made. It has the stuff about Crimson. I want to try and draw as much attention to that as I can. Mm. Oh, Carrie is asking why Crimson got taken down. We honestly don't know. To my understanding, no one knows. Our best guess is it's what happened to me and an AI took it down. And since YouTube doesn't seem to have a policy in place where a human being has to look at the channel before it gets terminated, we're thinking these AIs are just kind of taking channels down and no humans actually looking at them to see, oh, this is legitimate, it's a mistake on our bot. And that's the best theory we have because I still to this day have no idea why my channel got taken down. The reason for the rebrand was I was on a stream with CZ's World talking about the matter. And when we do live streams, we have an option to turn on an auto moderator who will hold back things that they believe are potentially offensive. And somebody typed my full name, Blood, Guts, and Social Commentary, into the chat, and we all saw it withheld. Myself, Lady White Rabbit, Mortis Media, and yeah, we all four saw it. So there's no, we didn't see it right or anything like that. So that's as far as we know what's going on. Yeah, and as Carrie pointed out, Ryan's not violent at all. Like the most obscene topic I have seen him cover was the Me Too movement, where he had to talk about assault. He had to. There's no way to cover it without it. But he was respectful. He was kind. He didn't get graphic. He tried to convey as much respect for the victims and people that might not have done what they were saying and this, that, and the other. So that's the only thing I could potentially see him getting in trouble for. But even that's one video out of all of his videos. That's not grounds for termination. Had he been showing something horrific, maybe, but even again, still not grounds for termination. Yeah, and Buzzum's point out still didn't believe it was fully an AI. With the speed it happened, that's why we think AI. Because at the first one of the puppet horror episode, I loaded the video up on my computer to watch it and to see if I messed up. And by the before the end of the video, I got 2 more strikes. So there's no way a human could have been reporting me that quickly. Yeah, and as Carrie pointed out, Crimson's news channel. He does some lighthearted comedy stuff, but for the most part, he is a news channel. Blood Husband the other day compared him to Colbert Report, but just without the fake right wing shtick. And Tom's talking about how Lazy Masquerade brought him in to the horror community, and then Lady White Rabbit, and just kind of went out from there. And I had a similar experience. Mine was with Rainbot. You just kind of keep going and going and going, and that's why creators supporting each other and trying to make sure other creators are being treated fairly is such a big thing. Because I've said a million times, YouTube is not a zero-sum game. Just because somebody subbed to me doesn't mean they can't be subscribed to Duchess Dark or Mr. Davis or this person or that person. So it makes no sense to be nasty to each other. And the thing with Crimson is a news channel. We literally just are hearing this with Philip DeFranco. He made a video how he was talking about leaving just because it has gotten so bad, and it's clear that the AI has learned to target his stuff. And a lot of my stuff gets targeted, but then it doesn't. It's weird. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. For the longest time, I got my vomit gore video was totally 100% fine. But things that I did about like werewolves and vampires were getting demonetized, where you think vomit would be worse than a vampire. Yeah, and Tom's talking about how Mortis and Black Eye Blonde have introduced him to a lot of a lot of other channels. And again, that's something we do because we're channels try and do for each other. And it makes sense as a creator to do that because hearing comments from other creators are a big deal because they have an idea sometimes of what's going on. Like if once or twice we've had somebody with like an audio issue and people will say, well, your audio is terrible, whereas creator will be like, okay, you might want to try ducking this or moving that over. Well, yeah, people with audio experience would know that. It's just one of those, it's nice to get the possible solutions or suggestions from people that know how this goes on the back end. This feedback from everybody is important and always appreciated. So I'm actually going to cut this off now because, like I said, I was going to keep it short today. So to wrap up, for anybody that just came in or missed parts of it, the small story, or why do I keep saying small story? Short story horror analysis videos are moving to the Horror to Patreon. Actually, let me pull a link up to that real quick so you guys can go there if you'd like. This is not a personal Patreon. The money will be collected until we reach our goal. And once the goal is met, the Patreon goes away. There's no more of it anymore. We have made that choice because we can host stuff directly on there. It's a podcast style thing right now due to upload limits because it didn't make sense to host it on YouTube when we're trying to move away from YouTube. Also, all the censorship issues. The other thing is Crimson Studios was terminated. We're still not sure why. We have reason to believe it was AI, but we're not sure. Again, pushing back to the idea that nobody is reviewing channels before they are terminated, which is not an unreasonable request. If you're terminating so many channels that you cannot have a human being look at them, there is something wrong. So I've just to catch up with the comments. 5 Fuzzums, I totally understand. Go deal with what you gotta do. And in Nightmare Files, the Horror Tube is an uncensored platform that is trying to be built. It's going to be fundraised. And once the fundraising is done, we're going to hopefully have this uncensored horror-related platform to avoid all the issues that have been going on with YouTube currently towards specifically the horror community. And Nightmare Files, I really think that interests you. So you might want to reach out to Duchess or Immunity Zero or Mother Creepy Pasta. I know you've had some issues with that in the past because you're on your third channel. Yeah, and Rainier and Strangest just came in, which both are fabulous creators. If you haven't checked them out, please do. And the Strangest, yeah, you're good. No worries at the end. Rainier says censoring talks about censorship is not the answer, which he's absolutely 100% right on. Kind of defeats the purpose. The for the strangers who's asking, TLDR version, Crimson Studios was taken down. We don't know why. Creator that hasn't violated TOS, as far as any of us can tell, have reason to believe it's an AI, indiscriminately deleting channels like what happened to me. But I'm gonna head off now. I love you guys. Have a great day and enjoy yourselves.